You have felt something today that has no name in your language, not because it is rare, because English simply never bothered to name it. You felt it anyway, you just called it nothing or you called it something close enough and moved on. Here is the strange part, other languages did bother, and once you learn their words, you cannot stop noticing the feeling everywhere. Start with something you have felt walking through a crowded city. You look at a stranger's face for half a second and suddenly imagine their entire life, their childhood, their heartbreak, their morning routine completely unknown to you, happening in parallel to yours right now, forever invisible. Writer John Koenig, who spent years inventing precise words for exactly these gaps in the English language, called this feeling sonder. The realization that every random passerby is living a life as vivid and complicated as your own, where you are nothing more than an extra in the background of their story. Once you have the word, you cannot stop seeing it. Every stranger becomes a small, unsolvable mystery. Now think about something quieter. The specific ache of being homesick for a place that no longer exists or never existed the way you remember it, not your current home. A childhood house that was sold, a version of your family before something changed. Portuguese speakers have a word for this, saudade. It is not simple sadness. It carries longing and love and loss all folded into a single feeling, aimed at something you cannot get back no matter how hard you try. English speakers feel this constantly. We just borrow other words and hope they are close enough. They never quite are. Here is one almost everyone has felt but rarely discusses. The small, secret pleasure you get from someone else's misfortune, not cruelty, something more specific. Watching an overly confident person trip slightly or a rude customer get told off by a waiter. German gave this feeling an entire word, Schadenfreude, joy built directly from someone else's pain. The fact that an entire language needed a dedicated word for this tells you something uncomfortable about how universal the feeling actually is. Now consider something psychologists have studied directly. The bittersweet desire to go back and re-experience something for the first time, even though you logically know that is impossible. Your first time hearing a song that changed you. Your first real conversation with someone you later loved. Welsh speakers call this hiraeth, though it extends further into a longing for a homeland or a past that may never have fully existed in the way memory insists it did. Researcher Tim Lomas at the University of East London spent years cataloging words like these from cultures around the world, building what he called the Positive Lexicography Project. His research found something important. The existence of a word does not just describe an emotion. It changes how clearly people can identify and process that emotion when it happens to them. People who learn the word for a feeling become measurably better at recognizing it in the moment, instead of experiencing it as vague, unlabeled static. This is not a small detail. This is the entire reason untranslatable emotion words matter. A feeling without a name is harder to notice, harder to sit with, and harder to explain to anyone else. The moment language hands you a word, the feeling becomes solid enough to hold. Japanese has a word for the bittersweet awareness that everything beautiful is temporary, the cherry blossom falling exactly because it cannot last, called mono no aware. There is a Finnish word, kalsarikini, for the specific comfort of getting mildly drunk alone at home with absolutely no intention of going out. There is an Inuit word, iksuarpak, for the restless feeling of repeatedly checking if someone has arrived yet. None of these feelings are foreign to you. You have felt every single one. You simply never had the word, so the feeling passed through you unnamed, slightly blurry, slightly harder to hold onto than it needed to be. Language did not invent these emotions, it just finally gave them a shape. You have felt something today that has no name in your language. Now, at least for a moment, you know exactly what to call it.